Atlantic breakers, which are the glory of the Cornish coast, roll in today poisoned and polluted. A tragedy such as Britain has never experienced before.
Cornwall's coast is known for its infamous beauty and hidden treasures and houses many popular tourist destinations. However, the coast has a much darker secret, the fact that over 6,000 ships have sunk here. In my screen life, I'll be sharing with you the tales of two shipwrecks that shaped Cornwall throughout the 19th and 20th century, starting with the SS Torrey Canyon in 1967. The SS Torrey Canyon was an oil tanker with a capacity of 110,000 tonnes, operated by BP that launched from the US in October 1958. She had a full load of crude oil when she set sail from Kuwait on the 19th of February 1967, and she was due in Milford Haven soon after. However, her journey was cut short when she struck the Seven Stones Reef on the 18th of March. It turned out that the shipmaster was to blame, as he took a shortcut to save time. When she wrecked, all 110,000 tonnes of oil leaked out into the ocean, causing the worst ever oil spill in British history. The oil spread as far as Guernsey in France and was christened the day the sea turned black. Here, Porthleven can be seen coated in slick oil as the tide washes in the pollution. The oil obviously smelt and made many coastal areas look bad, which led to a decrease in tourism in these areas. The lack of tourism meant a lack of income for the government, and once this occurred, actions were then taken to clean up the oil quickly and properly. As well as the environment being affected, as many as 15,000 birds were killed, and many of these species then took decades to recover. In an effort to reduce the size of the oil spill, the government decided to set the wreck on fire using airstrikes. On the 28th of March, jets from 2 RAF bases dropped 1,000 pounds of bombs on the ship, and kerosene was also dropped onto the blaze. Unfortunately, the fire was put out by a high tide, and further airstrikes were needed to ignite the fire. Jets from 3 other RAF bases bombed the wreck with napalm, and this bombing continued into the next day, until the ship finally sank. A total of 161 bombs, 16 rockets, 1,500 tonnes of napalm, and 44,500 litres of kerosene were used. Today on the wreck there are still explosives that never went off, however these are stable and will decay over time. Overall, the SS Torrey Canyon was the largest vessel to be wrecked at the time in 1967, and her oil spill led to a dramatic effect on the environment, but also the social lives of those in Cornwall. For our next wreck that shaped Cornwall, we will be looking at the HMS Anson, whose disaster not only led to the invention of the Breeches Buoy, but also led to the revolutionary Burial of Drowned Persons Act 1808. The HMS Anson was originally a ship of the Royal Navy, launched at Plymouth on the 4th of September 1781. However, she was later converted to a frigate ship because she proved too weak to serve in the line of battle. She wrecked in a storm after she became trapped on low bar, and both her anchors snapped. An estimated 190 men died, and most were buried in pits on unconsecrated ground, with no burial rites. Because of this contrast in burial rites, local solicitor Thomas Grylls drafted a new law to provide drowned seamen more decent treatment. John Hull Tremaine, Member of Parliament for Cornwall, introduced the bill, which was enacted as the Burial of Drowned Persons Act 1808. A monument to the drowned sailors and to the passing of the Grylls Act stands at the eastern end of Low Bar, on the cliff above the beach. The invention of the breeches buoy also came about when a Cornish resident by the name of Henry Tringrouse became distressed by the loss of life on the wreck and was concerned for how difficult it was to shoot safety lines from the wreck to the shore. He produced a rocket apparatus to shoot lines from the shore to boats, which is the earliest form of the breeches buoy. An example of his invention is on display at Helston Folk Museum, as well as a cannon from the HMS Anson itself outside the museum entrance, which was recovered by divers from the Naval Air Command Sub-Aqua Club on 17th of July 1964. I interviewed local diver Mark Milburn for his opinion on how the Anson shaped Cornwall. Mark said how most people in Cornwall will not even know of the Anson, and if they do, it is probably because they read the plaque on the cannon outside Helston Museum. Mark also said that most people will not know that the 2 cannons at Porthleven are also from the Anson, as is one on Culdrose Base, so the effect is minimal. In reference to the time it sank, Mark explained that it was just another shipwreck at the time. However, it was around the time people started to think differently, which is why the wreck led to the invention of the breeches buoy and also the Grylls Act. Overall, shipwrecks have shaped Cornwall since the earliest one was recorded in 1284, and the Tory Canyon and the Anson are no exception to this, having caused the largest oil spill in British history, led to new life-saving equipment, and led to new rights for the drowned men who have died in perilous seas.